Enate orchestrates work across a human, robot, or hybrid workforce. This allows seamless handoffs between humans and digital workers and enables end-to-end automation. In today's demo, we take you through a simplified loan drawdown process where a customer needs additional credit and makes a request for it. We have three human actors: Andy, who is a manager responsible for running the loan process and managing a team. Andy is also a loan processor himself. Moira is a triager and decides what needs to be done on a work item and which team needs to do it. Sammy, a loan processor, and Marvin, a loan processing bot, working on various subtasks in the loan process. Marvin is a UiPath bot, but is interchangeable with a bot from any vendor such as Automation Anywhere, BP, Softomotive, and so on. In today's demo, a customer sends an email requesting a loan extension. Enate picks up the email directly from the email server, creates a piece of work, and puts it in front of Moira for triage. Moira reviews it and launches a loan approval process for the requester. The orange blocks in the diagram are what we call steps. Steps are logical groupings of different types of tasks in the process that form the end-to-end life cycle of the process. The customer makes the loan request via email. Moira gets into work and logs in for the day. Enate monitors email and automatically picks up the message and creates a work item for processing. Moira clicks on Pull Work to request Enate for the next item she should work on. Enate allocates the next most SLA critical work item to Moira, removing manual allocation effort. Managers can override automatic allocation and continue to manually allocate when preferred. Moira can see various data about the work item, including when it was received, the requester, any attachments in the request, and defects. A time tracker tracks how long Moira is actively working on this specific item to help the business understand various utilization and productivity metrics. Moira reads the email body and launches a loan drawdown process for a Bank of People's India-based customer for further processing. This initiates the Indian specification of the loan process, capturing nuances specific for that version. In our example, the email was received and the triage completed. The first stage of loan drawdown process has been initiated for Bank of People for India. The first human activity to collect documents has now been created and put into the loan team's queue for processing. Now Andy, the team manager, logs in. On the top right-hand side, Andy can see all team members working for him. Each team member has a donut next to him, which indicates the number of work items that everyone is working on in real time. The green dot on each member tells Andy if the resource is logged in and working in real time. On the left-hand side, we can see the bot members of Andy's team. Andy has two bots here working along with Andy's human team to complete work. Andy, as an operations manager, can select any bot, just like a human team member, and see what each of them is working on. He can see what tasks are there in the bot queue, when each task is likely to finish, how SLAs are looking, their prioritization order, etc. Andy can choose to change prioritization or pull things back into the human world for processing. Andy can see 6 items and an hour of work remaining, after which the bot team will be idle. Andy can think about what else to automate with his spare capacity. Enate is bot agnostic, but there are multiple bot farms that are reporting into Andy. In this example, there is a UiPath bot farm and a Blue Prism bot farm. The unassigned work queues are items building up that have not yet been picked up by any bot or human resource for processing. The line items in the left bottom grid are the work items that Andy and his team have responsibility for. Each line item represents a piece of work, and their SLA status is reflected by the rag colors on their due dates in the grid. Work comes into this grid through various input channels like emails, FTP, forms submitted in a website, chatbots, or from any upstream business system that can consume a standard web service REST API. When work is received through any of these channels, Enate brings it in as a standardized, structured piece of work with a due date against it. Due dates can be defined by simple business rules, and where possible, Enate can auto-categorize work and allocates it to the right team automatically. Enate thus gives you a standard view in real time of work being delivered across your business. Andy is also a processor in the loan process. Andy moves to his inbox to pick up the next thing for him to work on. The collect documents task is the most business critical from an SLA perspective now and is put into Andy's Enate inbox. Andy now opens the work item and sees the response. All the documents are automatically attached down below in the file section of the transaction. Andy verifies everything, fills in any relevant data points, completes any checklist items, and completes the task. With this, the first task in the process is now complete, and the second task, customer validation, is now launched and available for processing by the next available loan agent. We can see it in the task list. Andy completes the first two tasks in the process. The third task is the loan calculation. It's a bot activity, and bot Marvin now picks it for processing. Marvin might run these numbers on an underlying banking system and return confirmation or a transaction number to Enate. The next activity is verify transaction, where a human is asked to verify the activity performed by the bot. Sammy, a loan process, picks up the next thing for her to work on. The verify transactions task is most business critical from an SLA perspective now and is put into Sammy's Enate inbox. Sammy verifies the transaction using the transaction number in the underlying banking system and completes the task. The last activity is a bot activity to import the transaction into the underlying banking system. Bot Marvin picks that work item and is unable to complete the action due to the underlying system being offline. This is an exception. Enate then flips the exception task into the human world, and the human can then decide to deal with it in one of many different ways. They can either take the task over from the bot, or assign it to someone else, or ask the bot to reprocess the activity with the right data set, or restart the process upstream to correct something further upstream. In this case, since bot Marvin is unable to complete the task, Andy completes the activity on behalf of Marvin, and this is now updated in the audit trail. Enate gives you a full view in real time of different activities being processed and completed across the operation in real time. The Communication tab highlights all the inbound and outbound communication exchanged during the processing of this request with external and internal stakeholders. The Timeline tab shows the complete history of the end-to-end process. This includes when the piece of work came in, who all worked on it, what communications were exchanged, handling time for each task, changes that were made, and basically provides all the data necessary for audit and compliance reviews. This also feeds into productivity and utilization metrics for the business to understand and drive operational excellence across the service. There are queues. Queues are basically competencies or skill groups. Queues connect resources to work buckets. In this view, there are 4 queues. There's an approval queue, a back-office operations queue, and so on. Work items from multiple processes can be delivered into a queue. The approval queue has 2 individuals, Andy and John, who are authorized to work items in it. Andy and John can be added to multiple other queues, and team owners can move resources around as needed, depending on workload. When a resource is available for work, Enate checks across all the queues they're authorized to work from and gives them the next piece of work that's most critical from an SLA perspective across all the queues they are a part of. The back office operations queue has 3 bots along with 2 humans, a total of 5 resources authorized to work on this queue. Bots primarily handle work here, but Enate understands if bots go offline and can then route work to their human counterparts with similar skills instead to ensure SLA is not impacted. Just like humans, bots can also be added and removed from queues as needed, and operations teams can drive this based on workload without needing help from technical teams. Ultimately, this empowers operations to consume bot capacity most effectively for maximum utilization and best business outcomes. Reports in Enate are delivered via Tableau in real time and are available for use when you buy Enate. They are configurable depending on business needs. Reports are broadly classified into 4 groups. Day-to-day operational reports are a real-time view of your business. These cover items such as workload, volumetrics, timeliness, trends, turnaround times, TAT, actual handling times, and so on. Utilization and productivity reports cover team, process, and individual productivity and utilization metrics. Automation potential reports are reports which provide guidance around what automation technologies to invest in, suggested tasks to automate next, and possible savings by doing so. Finally, bespoke or custom reports are ones which are specific to your business context. These can be configured on Enate's Tableau environment by business analysts as needed. To learn more, visit the metrics section on our website. Enate Service Orchestration drives service excellence through clear visibility, governance, and control across your operations.